Last time you all got into allegory, you were beginning to be processed as you came off the desperate gale into allegory for the first time inside one of these massive hangars, and you, along with dozens of other flying ships, begin to be itemized and kind of absorbed into the system of allegory, and lots of mundane questions: what's your name, where are you from, what are you doing here, etc. um, and there was a stowaway on the desperate gale, a young girl, kind of late teens, desperately holding on to her dead sister. That turned into an entire event where some sort of magical connection brought the young dead girl out of the death's embrace via the moonlight. A pink-haired girl who was also stowed away on the ship came over and finally diffused the magic, and you eventually got her up and moving, and she introduced herself as Lunith, and she was taken to one of the medical facilities nearby. You all had time to rest, recuperate, converse with one another. You guys, several of you, found the pink-haired girl, Haru, and she said she was looking for a group to travel with, and so she's tentatively sticking with you for the moment. Cressida, you went out to find other members of the Athenium to try and piece together any details you could about your missing wife. And you found a few pieces that allude to the possibility that she is still maybe in her tower, despite everything that's happened with Aurora's Rest. So we kind of are in between. You guys take a rest, get your stamina kind of back up. You are medically treated. You are patched up fairly well, even though you've already had some time on the Desperate Gale to kind of get your rest and get your bearings. There is high-tech medical equipment available here, so bumps and scrapes and bruises and stitches can be administered properly, everything like that. And I think we'll start off with Warden today. Warden, you've been here before. You've probably to this same pyramid, which is why you chose to like dock in this one as opposed to one of the other ones. What is your intention, as you know that the others you travel with will be facing their trial of power soon?
I believe I ended last session by saying, "Don't die."
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and he's gonna stick to that. He will stay with Ingen, and walking down the hallway and whatnot. If party members want to approach him, they can, but he's just gonna. He knows what's happening. He's gonna keep moving.
Okay, gotcha. So you are just kind of hanging out in the background, not really doing much of anything. You've just kind of shifted into observation mode, sounds like.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. For the rest of you, Ingen gathers you up early in the morning after there's been a certain amount of rest. And actually, before that, say like 6 a.m. ish rolls around. You've heard that you're going to be taking these trials kind of early morning, but not incredibly early. You do have some time to yourself after you wake up. If there's anything else you would like to do prior, I'll just leave that one open for a second.
How long have we been in the city? Less than 24 hours?
Less than 24 hours overall. About maybe about 12 to 14 hours at this point overall.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading this spell real quick.
Yeah, fine. Go ahead and hurry and develop that keen mind feat for yourself as you play the new wizard with your boon to memorize all spells all the time.
Yeah, I did that to myself. Could I have either... I'll take some of my own gold out. So, would I have had the opportunity to get a small gem-encrusted statuette of myself?
Is that something you would have grabbed? I think your wife would absolutely have given you something like that.
Knowing this spell, how useful it is, I feel like she absolutely would have already had that, but I'll take the gold out for it. It's
okay,
1,500 gold. So at that night, before I go to sleep, I'm going to cast Contingency on the statuette.
Okay. Go ahead and mark that spell slot off, or if it's a ritual, you don't have to.
That's what I was trying to do it the night before, so then I would have it now. Because Contingency allows me to essentially create a ring of spell storing out of the statuette with a certain trigger. It's one spell of 5th level or lower.
Okay.
So I'm trying to see if it stipulates that it's not clear if it has to be a self-cast spell or if it's...
Let's see here.
I can place it, like give it to somebody to trigger for later. Only on you, okay.
I'm not familiar with this spell.
Yeah, me neither. It's brand new. It's part of the 2024 spells.
Okay.
Spending a spell slot for both contingent spell doesn't come into effect. Instead, it takes effect on a trigger. Comes into effect when you are engulfed in water, and contingent spell takes effect immediately. You want it to, and then the contingency ends. Even if it normally targets on you, even if it normally targets one. So, my question with the wording of the spell, particularly the last 2 paragraphs, could I do an aura spell as part of the contingency? So there's a trigger for the aura to go off and it still affects everyone within 30 feet.
I think that
only on you, even if it normally targets others. Okay. I'm not sure. That's such weird.
Yeah.
Is it technically the circle of power is on you? It just emanates 30 feet from you.
Yeah, so that one's a little bit of an odd setup there. Essentially, an aura is you buffing yourself in a way that happens to buff others.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that makes sense in this case.
So I'm going to do contingency with Circle of Power. And the trigger is if I'm forced to make a saving throw against a spell or a magical effect, Circle of Power is initiated, essentially. So at that moment, for the next 10 minutes, I would drop concentration. So this might fuck me in the end, because I'm going to drop concentration or whatever I'm concentrating on, and then start concentrating on Circle of Power.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, we're doing that contingency with Circle of Power.
Okay, cool. There you go. Anything else for you, Cressida?
Nope.
Okay. Dro, anything for you?
Yeah, because I can't remember the last time Joe did this. I know he did, but I just don't remember when. He's gonna pull out Margot's notebook and see if there was a response.
Was there? Was there a response? I still don't know what you wrote.
There is a response. Give me an insight check.
I'm not even gonna attempt the digital dice on this. 26.
The response is a single word. And the way that it is written, because the book is handwriting. The lettering seems almost good and almost practical, but it seems a little jagged. And it could be given as terse, but instead you see it as distressed. And I'll shoot you the message of what he says.
Okay. Okay. Just gonna close the book for now. And is a little confused, not by how the handwriting was. He can piece together why. But more just there was an ask. He's confused on the response to that ask.
With a 26, that being so high, you imagine that the bandwidth based on what you said is non-existent.
I think Dro would want to sit and think about this, but knowing what's about to come again, and he's about to face something. He doesn't know what. Last thing he hears from Morden is "Don't die." He's gonna put this in the back of his mind for right now.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
What you doing? This
Oh,
is
yes.
probably a
Like,
little bit of time before you are collected for the day.
like sharpening her sword, doing some warm-up stretches. Yasmin's pumped. Like, listen, it's been a while since it's been like a fight that I'm not probably going to get killed in.
Okay. Haru, how about yourself?
Aru is the exact opposite of Yaslin, and she is not looking forward to this one bit. And I think she's actually gone up to somebody who knows this place and asked exactly like who's going to be watching these fights.
You come across a man who is decked in a bit of a pinstripe suit. He has a golden device like over his ear, which leads up to like an ocular device as well. And he's got kind of a messy hair, double scars on the tip, on the hook, on the crown of his nose. Very big, bright smile, and he turns around and says, "Oh, hi. These are generally broadcast to members of the ranking committee, and they are used to determine your level of power, therefore your ability to be in the city, what access you have, what to information, what access to hunts and quests that we can give out, things along those lines. They are not public, if that is a concern. Although, if that is not the concern and you are wanting additional infamy, there are plenty of public spectacles to be had.
This is private.
Private. Understood.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, if you want to continue
Not like a censored blur over her.
I'm afraid that's not quite possible.
That's okay.
Right. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to talk to our young miss who caused such a disturbance in the hangar yesterday.
Of course.
And Lunith, you have your own room. You've been attended to almost nonstop since you got in here. Would she be feeling kind of used to the flow of people at this point? Or is it something that she's still like hackles raised?
Everything about this is just wrong and weird and not right. Her memory is slowly coming back, but not quite enough to really remember the point of being here, like what happened. She understands, fire and mayhem and whatnot, a little bit of this and that. And so everything about this place is just so foreign. It's so different. It's really hard to get comfortable with all the neon lights and the kind of sterile feeling on the inside. So she's just almost constantly on alert.
Okay. Okay. You hear a knock at the door to your room. Young miss, may I come in?
Who's I?
My name is Gesimus. I am what you may call a spokesperson for some of the people who will be watching the events of today.
I suppose so?
Lovely. Coming in. And the man that I put in the chat comes on in. He is well dressed, although he is not in the garb that similar to Ingen. Okay. I did that incorrectly. So you see, handsome man, similar to what I described as Yaslin spoke to him on the way out. Comes in and he says, "May I sit?"
Lunith just kind of looks at the bed that she's laying on and then scoots a little bit backwards and lifts her legs so she's more in like a cradling position.
Lovely. So he sits down on about the farthest edge of the bed away from you as he possibly can. Just kind of turns and looks over at you. Have you been treated comfortably thus far?
Yeah, for when I've been conscious, yeah, I think so. Been in and out of sleep a lot.
Ah, lovely. Gold star. That's excellent. We don't want to have you feeling like you are not being taken care of. Now, young miss, may I be frank and ask you, do you enjoy small talk, or would you rather me get to the point? I am happy with either.
Well, I guess in this case, just get to the point.
Right. Seem like a smart lass. So I won't sugarcoat this, because I imagine you've been fed several heaps of lies over your life, and you know how to pierce through those at this point. Yesterday's events with your reanimation. Not sure if anybody's actually told you that yet. You were dead. You were quite dead.
She's just, her eyes kind of open wide and her mouth opens as if she's going to say something, and then just stops. It appears as though she's not actually been told that.
Right. Just take that in for a moment. And whenever you're ready, I can answer whatever questions I have, or you may have. I will do my best.
I think I'd like to see my sister and talk about this.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Your sister is sleeping at the moment. It seems her being any form of separated from you is more than she can mentally take at the moment. And while we were treating you, we had to separate her. And so, allow me to be clear, I'm not actually a part of the medical staff here at all. This is just what I've been informed of, so I could inform you. So take we as a collective for the pyramid here. Anytime you were separated, she was raving mad, not of her right mind. So we've given her some medicine to make her sleep for the moment.
Madness.
We certainly can bring her in and bring her out of it in order for her to wake up next to you, if you are interested in that.
No, if she needs to rest, then she needs to rest. I can talk with her later. We can do that just fine. But I think I'd like to talk with the other people I was with, the big bug guy and the elf person, because I mean, they seem to at least understand a little bit of why I was with them, so I could probably ask them a billion questions.
Naturally. And I was not there. This is simply what I was given to discuss with you about. Now, that is the first subject, and I shall certainly reconnect you with them post-haste. The second discussion. What happened with your resurgence was very unexpected, troubling, and something very powerful happened, which we are not sure of. With that, the higher-ups are hoping that we can get some information about what you are capable of. There was certainly some deep pockets of magic floating about during that event, and we need to understand a bit of what it is that we're dealing with while you are in our midst. We are going to put you into one of the categorizing fights to determine what your abilities are.
A fight? I mean, even I don't know what my abilities are. I've dabbled in some witchcraft growing up, but I haven't like fought people before.
No worries. Yours will be a bit of a special case. We have a specific caster that will be joining you. And think of it more as a magical sparring lesson. This person is particularly adept at stopping things that shouldn't be happening, magically speaking.
So are the doctors okay with sending someone who was apparently recently deceased, which is still a shock to me, to go have a magical sparring? Oh.
Right.
Oh.
It's a lot.
Well, who am I to question your ways, I guess? That just sounds a little bit scary, is all.
That is understandable, and that is a bit of the crux of the matter. Is this is the way the things are dealt with here. I'm not a native. I have come in and integrated myself over time. You get used to it. But somebody who, from one non-native to another, they thought I might be able to ease this information for you.
How much time do I have?
About an hour before they come and collect everyone, and you'll be with the group that you joined up with. This is not specific to you or your group that came in on the. And he kind of looks down at a thing on his wrist, the Desperate Gale. Not specific to you. We're testing everybody who seems capable in combat. This is quite a large influx of people to this space, and we are trying our best to understand how all these new people can integrate into here, or how best to assist them, and perhaps that means we treat them and they leave. Perhaps they bolster our numbers and our forces. We simply do not know yet, so we are gathering information.
Oh, okay, so long as I get to talk to everyone else before we get put in there.
Naturally. My deepest apologies. I'm not sure if I gave you my name. My name is Gessimus. And as I mentioned, I am a representative of those who determine the various prowess. Not sure how to duplicate that. Establishing the lever of prowess that we use to assign people into different roles here.
If I get assigned a role here, does that mean I have to stay here?
Not at all. Just means while you are in the city, even if that means you are here for a moment and then you leave and you come back, your role and ranking will remain the same. Think of it as you have an access pass based on what it is you can do. And that allows you to see various things and perform various actions. That is essentially how things work here. Everything is based on merit. What you can do brings you status, essentially.
I think I understand.
All right. And he kind of jumps up like chipperly and dusts off his tailcoat a little bit. Oh, shall we go find your friends? Is that too chummy of a word for people you met yesterday? Your shipmates. Shall we? And he kind of walks out the room without kind of like waiting to see if you're still behind him or not.
She is going to be just kind of shell-shocked because the amount of information that was just like nuked onto this orphan is quite a lot. And so the processing is very slow, but as a young person, she understands that like there are people in charge and you kind of follow the people in charge. And so after like 10 seconds, she just kind of gets off the bed and starts shakily following after him.
And as he's walking, like you kind of follow after him, and he kind of slows down slightly. And you kind of see from his back, you see him kind of like reach across and he like reaches into a pocket and he says, "Catch!" And he tosses a little thing to you. Do you try to catch it? Do you let it fall?
I don't think her reflexes would be quite quick enough to grab it right now.
Yeah, a little dulled in her, as she's processing, and clink clink clink, a little piece of like wrapped up candy lands at about your feet. Kind of doesn't even see if you're like going to pick it up or whatnot. He just kind of like continues walking down the hall and kind of like,
I think in the same kind of like shell-shocked way, she's just gonna look down at the candy and then step over it and continue.
okay.
I ain't 7, I'm 15. I don't need candy.
Did you say that out loud?
No.
So it was the wrong flavor. All right. Fairly soon, you guys are all kind of in the same, essentially, waiting room outside of a series of the medical rooms itself. Says, Ingrid, you're over here. I've brought the young Miss Lunith. She requested to talk to her group a bit before you take her. Yeah, that's fine. Just it's time for us to start going, so say a few things and we will head out shortly. Give you some more details along the way. And the two of them kind of step out into the hallway. Give you guys a bit of a breather with the 6th view.
How long until we fight?
At this point, it's about like 30, 45 minutes somewhere along the way, but he's given you like sounded like about maybe 5 minutes or so to speak before he grabs you and like starts taking you out.
Do we know if we're fighting together, like Battle Royale style, or is it one person goes and then the next, and then the next, and then the next?
I'll let Warden inform you on that one.
Well, these are all great questions. You're going to be doing one-by-one fights.
Warden, these fights, is it similar to the spar with Randar where after a point it's stopped, or is it to the death?
Oh, yeah, you stop. You're basically matched up with someone who they guess is similar to you at, what you're good at. So you're essentially fighting, like, yourself in a way.
It's
But
not five with me.
nobody dies. Well, most of the times. I mean, there was that one time a couple years ago, but that was just because they also had some underlying medical conditions. That was on them, honestly. But no, most of the times you do not have to worry about that whatsoever.
I want to roll an insight check on Warden as the DM.
You're saying we don't fight as a group, we fight individually, right? That's what you're saying?
Correct. If you were to fight as a group, it'd be very difficult to actually tell the power levels between people.
And how do they determine that we're meant to fight? I am support. I do not fight. I support the fighters.
You know, that's a great question. I've never actually had to deal with a support before, because in my fight, I shot at a person and they shot back at me, so...
My entire magic system is built around bolstering or weakening an enemy, bolstering an ally.
Well, I guess that means you might get a low score.
Do you really not have any offensive ability at all?
I have some minor abilities that I could, I suppose, use as offense, but... Joey, do you have any gems?
That's a draw.
To the group, yeah. Any rubies? That might be helpful in this fight.
I can't remember if we sold those or
Yeah,
not.
Out of curiosity, Yaslin's talking. What would you use a rock for in combat?
Yaslin's definitely imagining in her head like throwing a rupee because it's a dense stone.
That's exactly, she really is. She's like, you just like bribe them, or you like throwing it at them?
Well, if I had one, I could show you when I fought, but if I don't have any, then I will have to think of something else.
Charles just like looking through his bag.
Yeah, did we have any fancy rocks when we...
If I remember, Margo did
You
a
guys
lot.
got you guys got a shit ton of gems from the ship.
I thought we sold a lot of
We
them.
sold a
I
lot
know
of
for
them.
a fact we kept the diamonds, but I
Mhm.
don't know which ones we kept as well. I feel like we did keep more than just the diamonds, but I may be wrong. We may have sold them all but the diamonds.
It should be in our... Is it in the notes?
There's a note with when we were running through the cards. It was like 8,000 gold or 8,000 plus on the card, 300 gold piece diamonds, and 2 scrolls of Revivify. That's all I'm seeing.
We did sell them.
But we
Okay,
did
we
sell
sold
them
all the
all.
rubies. That's fine.
We once upon a
Um,
time did have a shiny red
Mhm.
rock.
Yes, I will think of something else then. Goddamn wizards and all of their material components.
Question above table.
Mhm.
Margo's wand of magic missiles. Did we use all the charges?
Yeah, so you have to roll, I think it should say on it. I think it's like a D6 every day to see how many of the charges are restored. It's a D4 or D6. Because there's 7 charges and I used every single one of them, but the wand didn't disintegrate like she did.
So,
Well,
Morgan, how many days have passed since then?
It's been like
What's that?
several days since we've been on the ship, right?
yeah, the wand of magic missile was not used during Lunith's resurrection, so I believe it's full charge.
Would have been well, because I'd have to roll every dawn to see how many charges come back.
Hmm.
I think
I guess my question
But
is how
even
many
if you just
times?
rolled a 1.
Yeah, how many times would I
Uh,
have to roll?
I'm gonna just say it is full because it's only got like 8 charges and it's like a 1d4 for recharge, so it's been more than like 3 days since
Yeah,
since you
7
guys fought
charges.
Bloom, so it's all the way full.
Oh, thank God I didn't want to roll that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dro's still awkwardly looking through his bag, and we'll clock that. Look at that.
Got
Look at Yaslin. Look back at it. And hand it over to her. This might be helpful. Give you the wand of magic missiles.
Ooh, wait, that does really cool things if you wave it and just think.
Who did you give that to? I'm sorry, I zoned
To you.
out.
To
Damn
you.
my spells. Okay.
Yeah, to Cressida.
Yes. This will be of use. Here, let me give you a little something in exchange, and I'm going to cast. You see, her book kind of floats up, and it flips to a certain page, and you see this rune kind of glow a light blue come off the page, and then kind of evaporate towards you and wash over you as she casts Longstrider. So you have an extra 10 feet now.
Warden's gonna look at I always forget his name, Ignan, and just be like, just giving him that look of like, is this allowed? Because this is like out of the combat.
Ignan's out of the room. He and Gissim has stepped out into the hallway.
Let me see if it applies it to you. Yeah, you should have it now. Hopefully.
Yeah, my character sheet's being weird, saying I have 0 feet of movement.
Well, now you have 10 feet.
I have 65 feet of movement.
Speaking of weird tech, is anybody else getting like D&D Beyond like stalling out really bad at random spots?
Yeah.
Like looking into the magic items, looking into monsters, or like anything else, just like a page, just like, nope, I give up. Okay, so it's not just me. I'm like, I just
No,
cleared my
it's
cookies
really
like
nightmare.
a few days ago. Like, this should not be happening. Okay, cool. Unrelated. Cool. Lunith, you get in and the adults start talking quite a bit. You're just kind of mousing off to the side.
Yeah, Lunith, even though she was just talking, was like, I want to talk to them and ask them questions. The adults are speaking, so she's definitely off to the side, like, okay, I'll wait for them to notice me. Meanwhile, Warden is going to take the opportunity as he, looks over, realizes that they have already left, and he was just kind of zoning out a little bit. He's just going to start drinking. You're muted.
Naturally. Who's got high passive perception in the group?
I don't
I
know.
do.
Mine's a 16 now. So much better than a 12.
Then we got freaking 20 plus over here.
Yeah,
Warden,
I think Haru has 21, right?
Yeah,
Warden
Haru
has a
21.
21 also.
Okay.
Where did that
Haru,
come from?
I'm gonna send you a message, Haru.
Warden's really good at looking at things. That's where it came from.
Let's say Dro is.
Then
I think Dro and
Haru?
Yaslin were the same, weren't they?
Yeah.
17.
Yaslin's. Oh, yeah. Yaslin's one below yours.
Oh,
He's
okay.
got a 16, I think. Yeah.
21. Jesus.
He's not the wisest cookie. Okay.
Yeah, nice show with the wand. If Yaslin got a kill with that, that would have been amazing.
The barbarian gets a kill with wand of magic missile.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. All right. Anything else before you guys head out of the room?
Yeah. Dro's gonna look over. Cassandra? Is that it? I'm gonna butcher your name. I always forget. Or Cressida.
Cressida, sorry. I didn't know who you're talking about.
You mentioned you don't have offensive capabilities. And you said you were more of a support individual. So I take it you have some abilities to protect yourself, maybe make yourself a little more difficult to hit.
Oh, absolutely. I can hurt people. Don't get me wrong. It's just not my area of study.
Well, Dro says that he just looks into the bag of holding. Okay.
Seems like a good time to use that boon of yours.
Oh boy.
If there's nothing else, you'll hear a. All right, all time to go. And you'll start to walk through the pyramid, and eventually you guys walk over to a section. You start to see it's not just the outside, the entirety, like similar to the way that this medical room is shaped. You have like lots of slants and angles, lots of triangular references in the architecture and the design, in the way that the building is constructed and decorated. Triangles, references to these pyramids over and over and over. You see fish tanks, like filled with crazy ass things that you haven't seen before, like built into a wall, but they are triangular, yes. In nature, you see like even like reception desks are triangular and then like kind of cut off into a bit of a trapezoid with just a base that's slightly wider than the top. You go through, and even things like plant potters are like kind of the reference to all these pyramids. Some of them are tri-pyramids, some of them are quad pyramids, some of them are like a quintuple, and like the top is cut off and then the plant goes in the center. This shape seems to be incredibly important to this society. And you pass by things. Give me actually, what are the languages that you guys can read and write? And give me a perception check if anybody's trying to like digest this place with their eyes.
Common, Elvish, Dwarvish, and Primordial.
Natural 20 on perception check.
Warden, you know what to look for.
Oh, that was Lunith.
Oh, that was Lunith. Sure, different story. Lunith is paranoid mode, so like she is taking everything in. And you see, and then Haru with a 25. Lunith with the nat 20 with 0 bonuses on top.
Yeah, just flat.
Flat nat 20. Okay. Overall, the group, except for Cressida, you're like, shit, I have to fight? Shit.
She's aggressively studying her spell book like I'm studying my spell list right now.
You are Cressida in this exact moment. You guys continue to go through, and like as you walk, you get the sense of something between a barracks and a radio station. Like, you go by lots of people with gear. You go by lots of people looking like soldiers. There's a couple of like groups that pass by you that look like straight up adventuring parties. Not too dissimilar to you. You see kind of like a tough, like thick-hided rhino sort of man, like covered in armor, where there's like a slot for his horn to come out, and he's like full decked in armor that seems to have like little etchings in it, and it's not quite like a magical rune. It's more like a technological circuit that might have a similar effect. And overall, the place feels like, with the barracks and with the communication relays, it feels like a launching point. Like, data comes in, people are assembled, and people get shipped out. Over and over, you see people like getting messages and like hearing a couple of details about like, this is where you're going, and so on and so forth. The entire place kind of feels a little bit like a tech-heavy quest hall. Doesn't take you very long before you reach... actually, based on the size of this place, it takes about 15 minutes of walking before you get to a room that Ingen scans in. He just goes up and like his eye, and like you see his circuits kind of glow gently, the ones that come off of his ear and like drift over his face. And it opens up, and inside the room is essentially just round with several layers of concentric circles above and below. So, all right, if you haven't done this before, it's going to feel a little weird. This is going to teleport you over to another area where we will be doing the testing. It's a little further outside of the pyramid. It's more in the mountains. But that way we can save a bit of walking time. Any questions? Okay. All right, right this way. And you guys are popped over one by one by one. Says, and you guys are kind of essentially like brought into what looks like a box office, looking down over a very battle scarred kind of indent into the mountains with some stone pillars, metallic pillars and things that have been carved into the ground here. The metal is scarred. The lights are scarred and scratched. The stonework is heavily beaten up as well. Even though it looks dense, it looks like it's been taking a beating for a long, long time. There's barely a 3-foot space anywhere in here that doesn't have some sort of marring on it. This is right. So, how it's gonna go. These will be a series of short one-on-one fights in order for us to begin the assessment of where your power levels align, what you're good at, what your specialties are. Do you have any questions about why we're doing this?
I mean, is it any different information than what you shared back in the hangar about status in the city? The higher your rank, the higher your status.
That's about it, but let me elaborate a little further. Pyramids aren't just for show. It's not just something pretty that we like to put up. They are gorgeous, though. And for the kind of gruff expression that he usually wears, you guys in general have like enough high passive insight that like he seems completely sincere. He thinks they are gorgeous. Like they are beautiful structures to him, at least. So the higher your status, the higher you get to exist in the city. The pyramids come in different shapes and sizes. If you are at the top of the pyramid, you own it. Owning it means you've got a lot of power going on. You exist higher up in a taller pyramid can be even better than owning one. The higher you rank, the more powerful you are, the more you are able to kill and hunt and accomplish difficult tasks, the better your status is in the city. Now, with your city, you can come and go generally as you please. Say like Warden here, he has an existing status from the last time he was here. It can be approved upon if you so desire. While you are here, it is expected that you are participating in hunts and quests, different missions that we need in order to push forward. The entirety of this place is designed to combat the never-ending struggle that Aeon presents. This world wants to create the fittest out of whatever is available. We aim to be that as a collective. So, any additional questions off of that?
Do I see Randar anywhere?
No.
Huh.
I feel like he already has a rank. He definitely already has a rank.
That's a good question. Does Dro know if Randar's ever been here?
Give me a history check at disadvantage.
What's my history? Oh, lovely. You would say disadvantage because I rolled a nat 20 and a 10 or an 11.
Of the scant few times that you've heard Randar talk about his past, this place was not on that list of things that he talked about.
Okay. I think Gerald just a little bit in the back of his mind is a little concerned on where Randar is.
Okay. All right. Now, these will be broadcasted to those who are in charge of evaluating your circumstances. You will be placed against somebody who has somewhat similar abilities to you. Doesn't do any good if a spy is trying to identify how strong a fully clad iron warrior is. We're trying to use people who are experts in the areas that you exist in to determine where you are along the path. Now, this is only your initial ranking. Don't worry about it too much. As you go through additional quests, missions, it will change over time. For good or for bad, depends on your performance. Now, who wants to go first, or are you all drawing straws? Yes.
You said earlier that there's going to be somebody there who would be able to like absorb my magic or something. What if I go out there and I just can't do anything?
Wait,
And
I
that'll
understand
also
that your
indicate.
system's a barbaric facsimile of wizarding systems, but you're not truly going to make a child fight, are you?
Yeah.
She's a bit of a special case. We need to understand what her abilities are so that
There are safer methods of study for that.
we're not really going to make her fight. She's paired with somebody who I doubt she'll be able to put much of a scratch on. And her instructions are simply to essentially take what dear Lunathier can give out. This is a chance for Lunith to see if what she can do. We completely understand how bizarre these circumstances are. We need some information here. This is more like putting her in the magical gym rather than putting her in a fight. The rest of you are in fight. Yes, Lunith.
Well, what if I blow up the city and kill everybody? Or like the moon falls from the sky and crushes everyone?
Tro's gonna take
I
a
honestly
step back.
have no answer for that, and hopefully that doesn't happen.
I don't think that's a
Fingers crossed.
possibility, sweetheart, but I assure you, there are people here who can help handle that.
Can I roll an insight check on her to see if she believes what she just told this child?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
After especially what we just saw she did in the hangar. Aw. 16.
Yeah.
Tro will
Handle it.
slowly take a step forward after hearing that.
I can handle it, at least.
Lunith, do you fully understand your magic?
Well, I understand the magic that I have used in the past. I don't know if I got any new magic from apparently coming back from the grave.
Tro's gonna turn to Ingen. Oh, so we told her that.
Yes, we did. And it's like, and Gesimus kind of steps in. This is not the type of thing we thought she should find out accidentally. Finding out in a controlled environment seemed like the better idea.
That is a logical step. I mean, it's important to understand the world around you so you can make informed decisions, is it not?
That's approximately where we were operating from, yes.
So, can I go first then? Because if I do anything crazy that causes, stuff to happen, then I want to make sure that nobody is wasted any of their magic and would still be able to jump in.
I'll follow
That-
her if there's an
that
order
sounds-
so that I'm close, just in case.
That sounds fine, dear. Yeah. So, Lunith, you are led kind of like down an elevator, which is probably a strange thing to you. And you exit out of this space. You are kind of brought over here, and Gesimus kind of takes you back and he says, before he leaves, he leans down and says, now, don't worry about any of this, alright? This is just you trying to understand where your limits are.
Okay.
Think of it as trying a new thing. And he's gonna back out. And from a different space, you see a leather-clad woman walk out. It's like leathery robes, and she's got several different trinkets and whatnot around her. She comes out and kind of dips her head and says, "So, you're the one I've been hearing so much about."
People are talking about me? Oh no.
Honestly, darling, yes. There was... You gave off what was essentially a gigantic magical display inside of a very busy hangar filled with thousands of refugees and employees.
Well, I didn't mean to.
Understood. And I'm just saying simply that people noticed.
All right. So do we just go back and forth here, or do I just throw spells at you and you test how much magic is in the spells, or how does this work?
Well, essentially, I want you to give me what you have, and I will adapt and try to put you towards certain outcomes to see what you were able to do. Some
Alright.
of this may be frustrating, and that's fine. Now, please feel free to begin whenever you are ready.
All right. We'll go ahead and also roll initiative.
Mm-hmm.
9.
All right.
I was a little bit worried it was going to be worse, but I'm very glad it's not, because I think it makes more sense story-wise if she went first.
Yes, I agree.
Are there any lights around here?
Yeah, so essentially everything that's glowing on this platform. And at this point, it's about 7-ish in the morning. It's like early morning, just not super early morning. So there is like a sun in the sky at the moment. It's a little bit like cloudy, hazy, and there's sun diffusing through.
Are there any fires, or are they all just like neon lights?
They seem to be electrical or magical in nature, not fire-based lights.
Okay. Actually, I don't think it matters. So she's going to fumble around in her pockets. In one hand, she pulls out a dagger, and then puts it back, pulls out a wand in the other hand, and it looks like a very crooked witch's finger pointing. It's this very ugly wooden wand. She's gonna go, all right, well, let's see what happens. And she thrusts the wand forward. One of the lights turns off.
Okay. This one kind of in the center. All right. Not bad. It's a good start. And she's going to kind of flick her fingers and kind of like turn it back on. Yeah. Try something else.
Alrighty then. I can do that. She's going to once again thrust her wand forward. Whoops. Hold on. It's double right click to target. Yeah, so is this how this works? Oh, wait a minute. Nope, I just did that to Warden.
Okay. New spellcaster, who dis?
Yes, let alone spellcaster on here.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Take. The target must succeed on the wisdom saving throw, which they did. Target is missing any of its hit points and instead takes 1d12. Okay, so they take no damage.
Okay, so what does this one look like?
Basically what happens is when she like thrusts the wand forward, there's just kind of this reminiscent bell sound, a very small bell, like a town crier might have as they, walk up and down. Bring out your dead! Bring out your dead!
Mhm.
And other than that, there's really no actual visual to it, just the sound of a bell.
Gotcha. As the echo kind of goes out, like reaches her hand forward and snaps, and the sound of the snap just kind of like dissipates the sound of the bell. All right, so you have some offensive ability. Excellent. Give me one more thing, then I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit, so to say.
I mean, all right. I'm used to standing in a circle and chanting up at the moon, so, well, I guess we'll see what happens. She thrusts her wand forward, and ends up casting the very strong spell,
Okay.
Circle of Death, in which negative energy ripples out in a 60-foot radius, which is going to also hit her, from a point that you choose within range, which she's pointing at the other person. Each creature in that area must make a Constitution saving throw or take 8d8 necrotic damage on a failed or half as much on successful. So she's going to go ahead and take her saving throw.
Okay, and what does it look like as this one starts to manifest?
Said Constitution. Excuse me. So the Constitution. This one, the negative energy that ripples out. At first, it's just kind of like this silvery beam that shoots out from the wand, but as it hits its target area, it then turns into a small sphere, and much like a ocean, it begins to like ripple and undulate, moving out in a very large sphere, expanding more and more as this wave of silver moon energy just kind of shoots out like the torpedo that Slave One drops in Attack of the Clones, the blue torpedo that blows up all the asteroids.
Okay, gotcha. And as you cast that, and that as it begins to manifest out, you hear it, "Oh my!" And she's gonna flick her hand forward, and she's gonna use her nullify spell reaction, and the spell disappears. That was quite a bit of a jump. Okay. Little miss, you've got some power packed in there.
Was that powerful?
And she's gonna walk forward a bit and just like, don't use that anywhere near anybody you don't want to be hurt. That one
Okay.
is best reserved for if there's a lot of enemies in a wide space and you want to hurt all of them.
What if I don't know how I just did that?
My practice in an empty space.
She nods her head.
Right. Is there anything else you would like to do?
She looks at the woman standing in front of her, and then takes 2 steps forward. That will end her turn.
Right. So, there is one more thing I would like to test, and please know you are not in any mortal danger. This may hurt a bit. We have medical teams standing by. But I need to test your defenses as well. Are you ready?
I think so.
Right. React to this as best you can. And she's gonna like flick her fingers up, and there's gonna be kind of 2 spectral daggers in it, and she's going to fling both of them at you.
Her hand flicks with the wand, and counterspell is cast.
Okay. As you do, so this is a
Constitution check.
this is an interesting point. New counterspell. Let's see here.
Athar would
Does-
roll a Constitution saving throw.
New counterspell. Does it work? Okay. You attempt to interrupt a creature in the process of casting a spell. On a failed save, the spell dissipates. It does not say anything about it being effective against magic actions rather than a spell. So you try to counterspell it, and she flips them towards you, unimpeded. It is not a spell specifically. Okay. So 2 of them come in. That'll be a 20 to hit.
20 will hit.
Okay. And another one will come in at 24.
24 will hit.
All right. That doesn't seem quite right. One moment. Okay. You take 13 points of dagger damage, of piercing damage, and another 23 of force damage. So you get hit, and then it kind of like blows you back a couple of times. And give me a strength saving throw. It's not part of the ability, it's just part of Lunith's. Yeah, that checks out. So
I agree.
she kind of pierces, and then they kind of like burst, and like Lunith, you are like knocked away about 10 feet, and you land on the ground, and you're hurt. You are prone, and just gonna say, "Oh my, fast reaction speed, but chose incorrectly." And she's gonna come over. She's gonna wave up to the balcony. She's like, "I think we're complete here." And she comes over and kneels down. Apologies, my dear. How are you feeling?
Lunith has been hit by this attack, and a righteous fury that she never realized she had previously stirs within her. If I am allowed to, I would like to cast something.
Absolutely.
So, essentially, as she's thrown onto her ass and the person walks up and is like trying to be nice to her, Feast of Flesh is cast on Agath, in which they need to overcome a charisma saving throw, or else they need to eat flesh.
Oh my.
So, welcome to Necromancy. This is one of the ones that I read and I went, okay, I can't have a zombie girl not have something that makes people become cannibalistic. Also,
Yes.
I hope I don't get eaten.
Okay. Let's see here. Story-wise, I like this, and she's not going to use a nullify on it. So we are just going to do the save.
And she fails.
She fails.
So her teeth, she can feel her canine sharpening almost vampiric-like, and then the rest of her teeth also begin to sharpen to the point that the inside looks almost like a neat shark's mouth, compared to, sharks have like 3 rows of teeth. She is now able to pinpoint creatures of the same type within 150 feet simply by scent. On her turn, she must move toward the nearest creature of her type by the fastest means possible. And if it is within 5 feet of a creature of her type, she must use her bonus action to make a bite attack against it. You are proficient with the bite attack, and you deal damage modifier equal to 1d6 plus your strength modifier. If a creature of its type is not present within 150 feet of the target, it must attack the closest living creature to it.
Got it. So from the box office, you see a couple of daggers go out and just kind of like little concussive bursts after they like kind of sink into her body, just and little Aluna just kind of like ragdolls a few feet away. She comes over and like she looks like she's like reaching into her pouch, trying to grab something, and then like the next moment, like a dark energy wave, kind of tinged with like green and sickly purple, blasts out, and she reacts and she drops a little, not a potion bottle, but more like a potion jar, looking a little bit more high tech than like a glass blower made it. Drops a potion on the ground and shatters. You see her like holding her head for a moment, and then she turns around and her eyes are wide. Her teeth are sharp. Her eyes are a little bit reddened. You see her take a step forward, and she instantly like teleports back up into the room, and she's going to
What's happening to her?
You
race is she?
can
If teleport was an action, we have time to respond to her.
yes, but you don't. Well, yeah, it's an action, but counter spell's not that far.
No, I was going to do something. I was gonna. My plan was to dispel magic.
Okay. She is going to roll an Arcana check for me, actually. Because you see something's happening, but there's no guarantee that you understand that
Passive
it's something
Arcana is
that needs to.
23. Is Passive Arcana a thing?
Could I...
That's an 18.
Nah, passive arcana is not a thing, but plus a million is a thing. Yeah, you. Sure. With an 18 in your study of debuffs, you've come across Feast of Flesh before. So she pops in, she immediately like. She looks over at Ingun. And she goes for him.
Dispel magic.
And go ahead and roll for the dispel magic.
I have to roll an Arcana check. I have to get a 16 because it was a level 6 spell. So
Say 15.
It's a level 5 spell.
Yeah,
level
you're
5.
fine.
Well, I just had to roll a 3 or higher, so or 2 or higher.
Yeah.
Good. This is what happens when you put a Grand Athenium member in the party.
Listen, Margot's gone. I had to make up for it somehow.
Right. So she pops in, goes for Ingun. You immediately like turn around and turn it off. And Ingun, being the adept fighter that he is, he just kind of like sees her coming, like grabs her arm, essentially like kind of bear hugs her, and like puts his knee into the back of her knee and like has her like kneel down. He's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Easy, Kara. You good? She kind of like snaps out of it and just as like you hear bones cracking as like the magic like recedes and her teeth reform to like the shape that she was in before.
Unpleasant.
I am myself. That child has power, but no idea how to control it. I'm not even sure how to rank her. I think we'll need to discuss that further, but I believe this trial is over.
I was gonna spin around and look at Lunith.
Awesome. So Lunith, during this little debacle for the like 5 or 6 seconds that it happened, realizes that she's done something wrong and looks down at the ground, touches it with her wand, and creates a shadow portal. She then steps into said shadow portal, and I have no idea, a door that is 200 feet away, but she essentially wants to like walk out of a door that is 200 feet away that is not the one up here with everybody else. Also, she can't really control it very well, so if she does come out of that door, then oops.
Roll me a percentage. Rolling high is better luck for what she wants.
25.
Okay, Lunith, you immediately like try to escape, and you're just trying to. You saw your training partner come out of a door over here. It's kind of like set into a wall. There's a little bit of a recess before there's like opened double doors that kind of like come out, and you try to like go over there, and you step in, and you end up right about where you came out. A little unsure of what just happened, so you do end up right about here.
Warden turns to the magical people in the room and goes, "You magic people always do such strange things."
Right, with that spell, she couldn't have gone far. Allow me to retrieve her. Actually, perhaps
Sure
not.
you're
She
the right
didn't seem...
one to do that.
Not entirely. She didn't seem too pleased with me a moment ago. You are more than welcome to do so. I imagine her mental state is quite fragile. I didn't think I would push the... I didn't imagine I would push her so far, so fast. So, Cressida, you have free reign to go try to track her down.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Try.
You just...
I'm not very good at finding things. Actually,
with
my investigation's pretty fucking high.
with your passive investigation and the recent Arcana check,
23.
like you know that she, like, portals like that, most gateway type portals that are like instantaneous like that, and that was not a dimension door. Most dimension doors kind of like a mid-range thing, and then you have like true portals and teleportation circles. None of them were that. She can't be that far away. So I'll say within investigation, you're able to find her within a couple of minutes. Lunith, do you do anything else, or are you just kind of hunkering down?
She is a little bit to the left of the door, almost around the corner. The wand has been thrown like 10 feet away, and she's just kind of rocking back and forth in a cradle position.
I will pick up the wand, walk over and kneel in front of her. Are you okay?
I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to do it. I don't know what I did, but I didn't mean to do it.
Don't. Deep breaths. Magic is powerful, useful, but it can be unpredictable. And it often responds to our emotions. And like anything in this world, it takes practice. You can't imagine someone swinging a great sword around for the first time in a crowd would be any less dangerous, do you? Everything requires practice and training. You'll get there, but you cannot fear it. If you fear it, it controls you.
It always made sense in the past. Every time I was with everyone else in the coven, it always made sense. But now it doesn't make sense, and I don't know why. I'm not saying words. I'm not ritually sacrificed. I'm not doing everything I used to. I can just do it inherently, like it's in my blood.
That's a gift to a lot of people. There are many who seek that. And I'll hand her the potion of healing. I think it's just a normal potion of healing. I have had many students in my life. I specialize in buffs and debuffs, but necromancy is still magic that can be studied. I want to assure you that you can learn to control this. And I can help you. But the first step is to not fear the power you have.
She looks up from, her hands and her knees, and you can see that she's been crying these kind of greenish red tears of, like, essentially sickened blood. And then she opens her mouth as if to say something, stops. You see her eyebrows furrow a little bit as she begins to process. Are you from Aurora's Rest?
I am.
I think I might have seen you before. Somebody who looks like you. You know a lot about magic. You're right. I've never been fearful in my life before. I've always been fearless. Everything I've always done, it's because, well, everything was going to be fine. Maybe it's just learning that I died, and there was something out there that I did that was fearless and was wrong, made me die, but I don't know. Something about it makes me feel more fearful than I've ever felt before. It's not a feeling I normally feel.
It's understandable to be afraid of everything that's going on. But, and then she'll pull you to your feet. And then she's gonna kind of pull out the broom and sit on it and try to motion for you to sit up on the broom with her.
Lunith will sit on the broom.
If you learn to control it, even something that seems dangerous or out of your control, like gravity itself, and the broom begins to rise up, can become under your control with magic. You just have to learn.
It is very visible that Lunith is not very worried at all while on this broom. Something about it is almost comforting. So she nods her head in agreement.
I'll make sure you have your wand and that healing potion as we fly back up.
She's gonna go ahead and drink the healing potion.
Yeah, 2, 4 plus 4. Okay. Alright. Lunith, as you get back up, the woman is hiding in the back with her arms kind of like resting on a table. Very clearly. And she says, when you walk back in, she's like, Lunith, I'm terribly sorry I went too far.
Oh no, it wasn't too far at all. I'm still just learning things. Everything's all right. I'm really sorry if I went too far. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I didn't want to hurt you.
You didn't hurt me per se, and I'll be truthful with you so that you understand what that was. You almost made me hurt someone else.
I can do that?
You made me want to bite Ingen.
Like, bite? What? She's speechless.
Right. Now, don't say that to shake you or anything like that. We are trying to determine what you are given. This is the first step. So we now know a couple of things. I believe your magic does tend to lean towards the school of necromancy.
There's a school for that?
The word school here is more like a classification. All magic can essentially be divided into several different categories. Defensive magic, summoning magic, they all have fancy names, but necromancy is one of those classifications, and it is one that utilizes life and death attuned energies to create certain effects.
Oh. Well, I never knew that. I mean, everything I knew about magic, it came from the Silver Moon. And so, I mean, every time everyone else cast magic, I just kind of assumed that it came from the Silver Moon too, and that I didn't know there was like different classifications of stuff.
turns to look at the group. Are you from Aurora's Rest?
That to us or her?
To Lunith.
Oh, sorry. I thought she was turning to everyone else.
Oh, she
Yeah.
looks back and then kind of turns back again. Which part? And I'm not terribly familiar, but I thought the city was largely studying magic as a whole. And I apologize if this is my misunderstanding, but I thought that meant kind of a base level of magical understanding was prevalent, at least for those who were casters.
Can I?
Lunith, don't take it the wrong way, but you seem talented and powerful, yet uneducated on the basics.
Well, I know a lot about magic. It's just what you're saying isn't what I know about magic.
Sure. What part were you from again?
That's the great question. I'm pretty sure I'm from the slums somewhat close to the monastery. If there are slums around there.
Can I roll history? She keeps saying the silver moon. Does Dro know what that is?
Yeah. Can I roll a history as well?
Oh, she's gonna outroll me in this. I got a +1 this.
That's why my character's been alive for 150 years.
Okay,
Yes, you can both. You both can roll history checks.
9.
23.
Oh my god.
Okay, Cressida.
I should have guidance myself.
That's okay. To help you out, I'll cast Feast of Flesh.
Cressida, you have heard of this Silver Moon reference. It's Aurora's Rest attracted all sorts of magical would-bes, and people who wanted to study magic in so many different ways. It's kind of an obscure reference, but you have heard of it before. It's a coven of witches, like old magic witches. Like sit around a campfire, stab an animal, and brew it in a potion in a cauldron sort of witch.
Witchcraft and necromancy.
That's about all you got, because they're not powerful, they're not prominent, they're just like in the magical community. For those who did occasionally hear about them, it was kind of like, oh, that's funny, they're playing with toys.
The D&D equivalent of a cult.
A little bit.
Well, I think it would be good for someone else to teach you a bit about magic.
Oh. Okay. Well, do you know anything about the Whispering Grove?
I know of it.
But you've never been there?
No shot.
Can't imagine.
History. Give me a history check for Cressida and Dro. I don't. With your line of study, I don't think
Yeah.
she would be interested in it. Like, it wouldn't have piqued her interest. Like, kind of a curiosity.
Q, am I
Um,
just saying all of the trigger words for you, going like, "Oh shit, I know that. Oh shit, I know that. Oh
Watching
shit,
you
I
just,
know
like,
that."
Oh, there's
now
so
you
much
know how I
stuff
feel
we
every time you
didn't
pull out Margot's
explore.
journal.
Uh, 19.
Ooh, that's good.
okay. Okay, the difficulty, the DC is different for Dro and Cressida. Cressida, yeah, it's the Whispering Grove is the very vibrant forest across the lake from Aurora's Rest. Aurora's Rest is so high up in the mountains that it's far above the tree line. As the other soldiers of Aeon were going up, there was a very clear demarcation where the train kind of burst out of the tree line and there were no more trees. Going all the way up, probably another like hour and a half's worth of train ride up the mountain. There's nothing. And then when you get to Aurora's Rest, you have the train that comes into oh, my brain stopped. High Roden, and then it goes across the lake, and then you have Aurora's Rest and the different sections in Aurora's Rest, and then kind of around the corner before it like becomes a waterfall on the east side, there's a pocket of this very, very vibrant, hue dense colored forest. The trees are purple and green and red and blue, and there's a mix and match of all the different vibrant shades between the vines, the bark, the leaves, the roots, all of it. It is a feast of colors in a forest. And it is also kind of a dead zone. People have been trying to study it for decades. And there's one of the towers that is almost exclusively dedicated to it, and they've been able to make barely any headway. Dro, you know what you know.
So who,
Actually, with a 19, I'll send you a message real quick.
who mentioned the name?
Lunith.
Lunith said it.
So this whole time Dro's been a little skeptical of her and just stand in the back, but the minute he hears that, his attention's on her. Not saying anything, but you have his attention.
Are you not entertained?
I guess he would also be clocking. Well, the only two people from Aurora's Rest are you two, right? So he'd probably be eyeing how both of you are reacting. But
I think Cressida looks curious.
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked is because I spent a lot of my time in the slums, a lot of my time in the Whispering Grove, and sometimes I would go up to the monastery, and then I stopped going.
Well, if you would like, I would like to offer a more formal education. That of the Athenium. To work on your magic, gain more control.
Is that what I know? What was your name again?
Cressida. I ran the tower, the Hearth of Hope. You may have come from one of our kitchens. You may have stayed at the shelter one night.
Yeah. Yeah. I just knew a lot of people who went around that area.
Lunith, you mentioned the temple.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you remember from the temple?
Well, I met a couple people there. I met a couple of the people who were in charge. Randar was one of those people. I met him like maybe once or twice. I saw him on the ship. No, that's a lie. She didn't see him on the ship because she was dead. She did not see him on the ship. And then I also spent some time with the boy from there. His name was Keegan Fairfax.
Zero's gonna step forward. Does he recognize that name?
No. Different age ranges in based on her age and when you fled. This is probably time frames that do not overlap.
So he wouldn't have even remembered even seeing her in the temple.
Probably not.
You also mentioned the Whispering Grove.
Yeah.
Joe's gonna have a really confused look on his face. How long were you there?
I mean, I would just go in and out of it. We performed a lot of rituals back there, and it was pretty easy to navigate, so...
That
I
statement,
just-
Morgan. Going in and out of it, easy to navigate. Is that... Because that's not something Dro would... For most other people, is that statement true?
Just sent you a message.
Okay, that's what I thought. Did you see other people besides your family in that forest?
I believe the technical term is coven.
That.
What do I roll here?
Yeah, let's do history.
Uh-oh. That's gonna be a solid 6.
Not that you can remember. It was always just your coven.
Just the Sisters of the Silver Moon.
Okay. And do you know if there's a reason that it's easy for you?
Is it not normally easy for people? I mean, we just basically walked right in, walked to the heart of the forest, did what we needed to, walked right out. I kind of assumed, like, everyone else did that, too. I think I'm starting to realize that maybe my childhood was a little bit different than other people's childhoods.
You're not alone in that statement. Most people in Aurora's Rest, from what I've heard, don't go there because they can't.
What do you mean? They just, like, they can't walk through trees, or they don't know the path, or... Like,
More, and he's explaining this because he's also trying to believe it. They say it's people enter and don't come back. They get lost. They can't navigate. There's a part of me that wants to understand how your looks at Cressida covenant is able to. And then he's just gonna stop at and.
Well, I've been taught since a young age how to go through there. I mean, I'm sure when I was a young girl, I probably had some difficulties, but eventually it just hit the point that I was going in and out of it so much that it just kind of, I don't know, became natural.
So you're saying you were taught a skill to be able to navigate.
I would think so. Actually, did anyone else besides my sister, from the Sisters of the Silver Moon, ride on that ship?
Not that we're aware of. At least none responded to you and your sister, that is.
There was nobody else on the ship that identified as anything like that. I imagine they would have been clear. I imagine they would have been near you if they had been there. This is Ingen. I can look into the other manifests to see if we have anybody else like that.
If you don't mind.
Not a problem at all.
I was just still confused. He's just okay. He's just gonna kind of take a step back.
Right. Looks like we've got a bit of a mystery to unpack here. I'm not sure the details of what the grove is. But we do have a schedule to keep here. So let's move on. Cressida, you said you would like to go next.
Yes. If I may ask Warden one more question. Is this a multi-tiered fight? Should I save my resources for later, or is this a one and done, show us what you can do?
Well, that's kind of up to you. I'd recommend using your resources as fast as possible, because if you can stop them, then, well, they're stopped. And also we might get something wildly interesting like what just happened. But if you do it in tiers, then, you know, they will slowly scale up with you. Though, if you're an Athenium mage, I can only imagine who they're going to send against you. Good luck, though. You'll be
Warden.
fine.
Like,
Sorry, I think this is
Alright.
hitting me a little bit quicker than I thought it was going to.
Alright, that's enough out of you, Tall Blue.
Okay.
Let's go.
I'm
And-
gonna jump on my broom and fly down.
You run into a window.
I flew up with her. I thought I could fly
I just
down.
imagine a bird.
You went up,
so
you went up the elevator.
Oh, I thought I flew up to the balcony. It's fine.
No balconies. It's just like box office seats. Cool. So you take your spot. Your opponent. You start to see like the windows open, and your position's over here. Oh, sorry, I just grabbed you. And Cressida's just dancing on the battlefield. You're not sure who you're going to be facing, but after about 30 seconds or so, you see somebody coming out like their head is bowed. They've got like some like strange markings on their face. They're like wearing like a thick cloak, and they're like writing incessantly into a book. It's like, okay, I wonder what this is. And they're like absolutely muttering to themselves. And they come out and they keep doing so until they get all the way to their portion of the stage. He's like, okay, hello, nice to meet you. Are you ready? And he doesn't even like look up from his book.
I believe I am. Cressida.
Hi, nice to meet you. Koilak. You can call me Koi. That, if you prefer. I hear nicknames are something that can help somebody get into the good graces of others, so I'm trying it out. It feels weird. Anyways, begin. And he's going to immediately, like, without looking up, he's going to put his hand out, and like a spell is incoming. Please roll initiative. And that is where we will take our break as well.
Because she had cast Dispel Magic earlier, her Abjure, it's an abjuration spell, so her Abjure ward is up, and it's up until her long rest or until all the points are expended. And you see her books kind of floating in front of her. The pages are spinning rapidly, flipping back and forth. And you see a bright flash of light from the sky above as two motes of starlight spin rapidly down, slowing in speed as they come to circle around her in a gentle rotation. And she has two motes of starlight, or stellar bodies, floating around her. No, it's not right. It's centered on me. But that's it. So she
Now
has
I
her
get to say-
starlight around her. She's
I get to
gonna
call
move.
myself out. I was muted.
And it's your turn, Koylak.
Please call me Coy, I think. Interesting. And he's still down in his book, but you see one of his eyes flips up and stares directly at you. Not bad. But so useless if you this. And he's going to target you. And he's going to cast a spell. There we go. Okay. Do you do anything?
What spell? You just said a spell.
I'm not going to tell you which one. You just... Do you try to counter spell him?
See, I would if I... See, I feel like there would be more context, right? Because, I don't know, I'm not going to counterspell a magic missile. That's a waste of my resources.
Give me an Arcana check. I'll say at disadvantage because this is happening very quickly. You don't have time to analyze it.
So I have a question for future rolls.
Mm-hmm.
can we just say we cast something and then wait, and then if your guy tries to cast counterspell or dispel magic later, we'll be like, you didn't say it before we said the spell type.
Yeah, we can do that. Where like there's a
Okay.
bit of a we can allow like a bit of a pause, and then that's your opportunity to react somehow, and otherwise the spell goes.
23.
23. You see his hands move in a way that you recognize, and like the energy buildup feels transmutative, and you suspect this is a polymorph.
Yeah, I'll counterspell it because I don't lose my spell slot if I fail. Well, let's try. So he has to make a DC 19 con save against my counterspell.
That's interesting. This is the first time that we've come into this where I don't like the new counterspell.
Because we used it
Because-
last session.
We did, and something's a little bit different. Like as I'm realizing this, that the level of the spell doesn't matter at all in this new counterspell method, which feels weird.
I think the
like-
balance to that is if like your character fails the spell, they don't lose that spell slot, so the resource isn't consumed.
Mm-hmm.
So you can cast a 6th level spell, fail your counter spell save, and still have that 6th level spell slot for later.
Yeah. Weird. Okay.
Or you could roll
Oh,
a natural
shit.
20. On con save.
Okay. So I need you to
Charisma save, right?
to do. Yep, go ahead and make a wisdom save.
So, fun thing about contingency is this is a saving throw, so contingency is triggered, and you see her little gem encrusted statue start to glow. And I now have advantage on saving throws against.
Do you have that on your external on your person?
I imagine it's strapped to her hip. Among
Okay,
like she has her
cool.
book holster and her like quill and her potion bottles and everything's like on a little Ren Fair style belt, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha. So your little starlight motes that are rotating around you, is that concentration?
No.
Okay,
Stellar
gotcha.
bodies is not concentration.
Okay. So he pushes it out, and you are able to knock it out of the way with, like mentally. He's like, "Ooh, resilient," and he like goes down and like starts noting something in his book.
That's my circle of power.
Okay, gotcha. Let's see here. Nope, that'll be his turn.
Okay. Interesting. I want to cast another concentration spell while I have this up. Let's hit you with one of my star motes. You see one of the star motes begin to glow as it shoots off towards him.
Okay.
It's going to... Oh, that's weird. It's not configured. That's weird. Wait, what is going on? This looks weird. Are you guys trying to roll damage yet? It looks... Let me see if it works. That's one extra d8 than there needs to be.
Okay,
Only-
gotcha.
I don't know where the well, I know where the extra one is. The 1d8's for a melee attack against me.
Okay, gotcha. So we'll just take the other one out. This is a.
It did roll to attack. This is silly. It didn't try to roll my attack roll.
Yeah, it's like, is this a save or is this an attack roll?
No, it's an attack roll. Let me roll. I'll just roll a d20 separate because it's being weird right now. So it's 11 to attack.
That's okay. Sometimes these ones that have like multiple layers to the effect.
18.
18. Okay, you see it coming in. He's like, no, thank you. He's gonna cast shield and block it out. All right. Interesting. So does that consume one of your stellar bodies?
Yes, and it's an action to use in that manner. So that is my turn because I don't really have bonus actions.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, I did a thing. Okay then. Let's try something else. He's going to open up his hand again, and he's going to he's going to open up his hand, and you see it begin to frost over, and he's going to launch out a spell towards you. No, because he didn't polymorph, so I cast it. Yeah, I'm gonna. Do I want to waste resources on this guy? Trying to think of what kind of spell this could be. I'll take it. Okay. There's a long line of ice that like cuts off, and as he casts wall of ice. Go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
With advantage. Doesn't matter. That's a 5.
Okay. That'll be 51 to hit, or 51 points of damage.
Okay, math. Oh, no. I get 29 points back. Because my arcane ward consumes the damage first. So.
Okay, nice.
It's like 29 free temporary hit points.
Awesome. Go ahead and make a concentration check. So with the math, 51 minus 29, whatever that is, 1 minus 29, your DC here is an 11 or greater for your concentration. Yeah, you're fine.
Forecaster, yeah.
Okay. So there's a wall of ice that kind of like cuts into you and like slices your vision off, and you cannot see him. And that'll be his turn. And the wall is like 10 feet high.
In front of me?
Yes.
Alright, I'm just gonna fly up and over it, because I have 50 feet of movement speed, so that's 10, 20... I'll just minus 10.
You have a fly speed?
For my movement. Yeah, because I have a broom. You gave me a broom.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna fly this way. I don't know where he is on the other side of the wall, unless he already also casts invisibility somehow.
Nope. Okay, so you are, let's say you're 15 feet up.
Yeah, I'm gonna fly. I only flew. Yeah, I guess I have to fly 10 feet. 15 minus 50. 35. Okay. I'm gonna fly to close as I can get, which is right here. I think that's right, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, okay, whatever. I'm gonna say, you know, as learned as you are, there is one thing that our kind is quite weak towards. It's those martial types.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna cast Tensor's Transformation on myself. I
Okay.
gain 50 temporary hit points. I have advantage on attack rolls with simple and martial weapons and do an extra 2d12 force damage with simple and martial weapons. I have proficiency with all armor shields and simple and martial weapons. And strength throws and constitution saving throws. And I can attack twice per round, so I basically turn myself into a fighter.
Nice. The circle of power ends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, you're making me do something that I was not expecting to do. What does this look like as she casts this and she goes through this transformation? How does she look different?
I think you still see her spell book, and it's like the pages are turning rapidly, but they're never running out of pages to turn. And you see the blue kind of runes or arcane sigils emanate up and kind of surround her body and settle over her clothes, and it creates almost illusory armor around her, and her dress now looks more like fighter's armor, and you can see her weapons begin to glow. Her daggers on her hips begin to glow as it's enhancing her martial capabilities.
Okay, nice. It's kind of too cool not to. He's like, yes, I am aware of this weakness that you refer to, and it is something I have certainly spent time acclimating myself towards. As so. And he's going to cast Polymorph on himself.
Counterspell.
Counterspell.
I'm gonna do a 4th level counterspell, not a 3rd level counterspell. Oh, actually, it doesn't matter. You're right. No, it doesn't matter because they changed the leveling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the level of the... Wait. Counterspell.
How does that work back and
It's
forth?
in the chat.
It's whatever one is cast later. Oh, counterspell. If you cast it at higher levels, it's an automatic success. So if you cast it at 3rd level
No,
spells
not
below.
anymore. They took that out.
No. My
not there
dude. My dude has old rules still attached to his character sheet. I wish they would have gone through and been like, hey, any caster monster block that has 2020 or 2014 rules updated to 2024 rules, because now I have to go searching for everything.
It's in the chat on the side because I cast it. He just has to make a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, there is no upcasting on this anymore. Okay, so he's going to... You counterspell, he counterspells you, and his polymorph goes through.
Well, no. We both have to make
Let's say,
Constitution saving throws still. Because there's no
No.
leveling. So we would both...
If I counterspell you, and if you fail my save, then I don't have to do yours.
Okay, so I still get to do a Constitution saving throw. It doesn't just fail. Yeah.
Yes, that's fair. Why do you not have counterspell in here, but you have it on the stat block?
16. What's his spell save DC?
Boo doo doo. Where is he? 17.
Well, I mean, I don't consume the spell slot because abjuration wizards don't. So
No, you don't. You see his body kind of like slither and like shape, and he looks like a long-legged lizard, and he looks very bony and like almost emaciated, and his mouth goes very long and wide. And I will get you guys the image for it in a minute. Come on. Why are you not doing it?
I love that Cressida told the group, I don't have any offensive ability, then turns into a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those. It's one of those abilities that I think she would only use in this situation.
Dro's 100% just death staring at her now.
She would never use it if there were other people who needed her support. Because I have much better support spells for my 6th level spell slot.
It's still a pretty cool spell.
It is 50 temporary hit points.
Okay. There we go. And that was his action. And so the two transformations come through, and they are facing off. Cressida, it's your turn once again.
You know, he's kind of irritating. So let's. You see which one has the most D6s. Okay. You see lightning kind of streak and coalesce around her as she puts her hands out and a lightning bolt shoots out. And I'm going to do
Apologies. He's going to move before the end of his turn. So he comes like
Okay.
right up underneath you. He can't attack yet.
That's mean. I'm gonna do a Warden said all or nothing, so let's upcast this to a 5th level. Lightning bolts.
Lightning bolt. Nice.
So 10d6. Only 30 on 10d. Look at all those ones. Are you fucking joking?
Okay, kind of. I don't know. That's right in the middle. Some really good, some really bad. Okay. And let me see here. That is my dex save. Oh boy. My little lizard here is not necessarily nimble. So you blast it with 30 points of damage. Wait, what? That was weird. Oh, I know why. Oh. What the? Sorry. Polymorph is being weird on me. It's stacking his original health points with his polymorphed health points. And
It does. So the new 2024 rules, the target doesn't change their hit points. They gain temporary hit points from the beast form.
weird. But I guess it ends up being about the same.
Yeah, it really does. I don't know why they word it. I guess it eliminates any other temporary hit points you have. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Interesting. If somebody is affecting themselves with polymorph and they get hit, they still have to make the Constitution check, right? For concentration.
If they're concentrating, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Maintains it. Okay. So that is your. So you cast lightning bolt. It kind of like sizzles all the way down this long lizard type form that he just assumes. And anything else for your turn?
Yeah, let's no, because I don't have 2-weapon fighting. I can't do that. I'm thinking of the wrong character. Never mind. That's it.
Okay, gotcha. The next bit, he's going to come up like right underneath you. He's gonna like raise up, and like you think he's gonna bite you at first, and then like from the bottom of his maw, you start to see a little bit of like glowing green. He like flexes his body, and like he's going to shoot a burst of acid straight up in the air at you. And this is going to be his acid spew ability. Oh, my I'm just fighting it. I don't know why this always thinks that I'm out of charges at the beginning of a fight. What? One moment.
Big Linda. I just noticed the name of the snake.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No. Okay. So go ahead and roll for your dex save.
Thought it was gonna
Ooh,
be
no dice.
16. Nope.
Okay. That goes straight up and kind of like burns from like your feet upwards. Some of that like conjured armor is starting to like sizzle and like kind of crack from the corrosive elements here. So that'll be 52 points of damage. Did you gain like a butt ton of temporary HP from your transformation?
50.
Yeah, I gained 50 temporary HP.
Holy crap! Nice.
That's what I did.
Okay. All right, that'll be its turn. And you're go now.
I have a question about temp HP. Do I still have to make a con saving throw for concentrating?
Yes.
I don't think it's possible for me. It's not possible. Let's see if I roll a natural 20.
No, it's saying
Not a natural.
Oh, it is a DC. It is a DC
25.
26.
Should be. Not a 15?
No, because I hit you with 52.
No.
So it's
You're a smart ass.
Oh. Okay. Which is weird because you hit me for 30 with your lightning, and it asked me for a 30, which was weird, but it should have been a 15. I don't know why it did that. Okay, so your transformation... Oh, the ice wall is gone because he's concentrating on polymorph, FYI.
So here's the fun part. I need to make another con saving throw immediately.
Oh, okay. So this is like a backlash of the skill?
Mm-hmm. Okay. If I had failed that, I would have taken a level of exhaustion. But I did not fail.
Ooh, big move. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so you're no longer concentrating on anything at the moment?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay. Cool. That is back to you.
Well, that was fun while it lasted. I'm going to cast slow on this big stupid snake.
Also, thank you for Dungeons of Drakenheim for actually making a beast that was awesome. Oh, you're casting slow?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Selecting my snake thing.
Oof.
Where are we at?
What the fuck is with all of your goddamn saves?
Holy
you rolled a natural
shit.
20 to save against so many of my spells.
Yep. You see it kind of like hit it, it kind of like slows down and it just shakes it off and the spell dissipates.
I'm gonna shoot straight up in the air.
Okay, cool. It's going to take an attack of
I'm
opportunity against you
It can sure do that.
with its bite. There we go.
That's better.
Margot's-
I like to see that better.
The karmic balance has been achieved. You shoot up so fast, it kind of not expecting it. Like it bites down, and it like actually cracks some of its teeth. I'm gonna roll a d10 for how much damage it takes. Okay, 4 points of damage. I'm gonna make myself roll a con check, anyways. Yeah, it's fine. 15. Okay.
I'm now 65 feet in the air.
Okay, cool. So you are now 15 feet in the air.
65 feet in the air.
65 feet in the air. Well,
Because I
good
was
thing
15 feet in the air, yeah.
good thing I just used my ranged attack. Okay, 65 feet in the air. Okay. He's going to...
No, yeah, that was a spell.
Yep. Okay, he's going to drop his concentration on polymorph, and you see him revert back down to his normal size, and he's going to... Oh, where is it? My brain is looking for a spell.
I use my bonus action for something. I
Yeah,
didn't
sure.
think of.
Especially because I'm being
I'm just gonna
slow.
switch out spells, yeah. So as their bonus action, you see like
There we
her
go.
magic kind of pulse as like you see a mode of magic come out of her and go back into the spell book, but while another one moves from the spell book into her chest as a
Okay.
bonus action. Prepare a different spell.
Okay, gotcha. All right. He's going to look up and point to you. That's not very nice. And he's going to cast Counterspell, or he's going to cast Dispel Magic on your broom.
Ooh.
You touch a... Oh, where is it?
God, yeah. How does dispel magic work on magic items?
Choose one creature, object, or magical effect within range. Any spell of 3rd level or lower on the target ends. This would be a little bit more complicated for a more complex magical item, but obviously the spell on your broom is Fly, which is a 3rd level spell. So the spell effect will end on your broom.
It's a temporary thing, though, right? On magic items, it only suspends it.
Yeah, this is... Yeah,
I was
it
gonna say,
doesn't...
magic-
It doesn't specify it here. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong dispel magic. Let's
It's
make
not
sure.
an ongoing spell. I mean, yeah, it says choose one creature object. It's an ongoing spell. This is like a permanent infusion, so I wasn't sure.
One moment. Well, almost all spells on objects are ongoing. What am I looking for? Dispel magic. Okay, here we go. Just making sure. One creature, object, or magical effect. Any ongoing spell of 3 or lower on the target ends. For each ongoing spell, it just talks about the... Yeah. Okay, so it ends. Yeah, it doesn't really talk about the duration of like how long the spell ends for. Okay, somebody says 1d4 rounds.
I'm seeing both ways that it does and that it doesn't from people. I see one that's saying it ends a magical effect caused by the magic item, but however not affect the magic item itself.
Like if you had the Poppy Watch or something that casts haste, it would end the haste, but it
Or
doesn't
like,
dispel
someone
magic, does it?
casts something with darkness. You could dispel that darkness. But then I also see dispel.
Yeah, I see it. Well, so it's. I mean, as long as you don't permanently break my broom. That's all I'm worried about.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure how to rule this one because there's other stuff like flying swords, animated armor, and stuff. Those things obviously have things going on, and they have something called anti-magic susceptibility, which means they take like extra damage from anti-magic field and dispel magic and things like that.
By that same
I-
tone, I could cast a dispel magic on like the bad guys' arcane focus or the big guy's armor and take away their magical bonuses, things like that, right?
Yeah, you could. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't. Logically, it doesn't make sense for me for like magic items just to be immune to
No, that
like
makes sense.
dispelling effects. Okay.
As long as it's not permanent, that's all I'm worried about.
No, I like the 1d4 rounds thing because then it's
Okay.
possible that it could recover during the same combat. Does that work for you guys?
Yeah. 2 rounds.
Okay, gotcha. And you are going to fall.
I'm
Lit.
going to cast Featherfall.
You are going to fall not at all.
Slowly.
Or you're going to fall gently. Okay.
That was my bonus action before flying 65 feet in the air was preparing Featherfall. Because I was like, this motherfucker's
That's
gonna try to
smart.
knock me out of the sky. He's gonna try to knock me out of the sky.
Okay, and your broom starts to drop. You quickly grab it and you drop on down. And the as you land down in front of Koi, he just kind of looks at you for a minute, cocks his eyes, but like both of his eyes like stay in the same orientation, even though his head tilts. You take a look at him, and he's got a bit of a chameleon look to him, a little bit lizardy, and like, it says, "I think that will suffice for the remainder of the battle."
So I fall 60 feet, so I'm still 5 feet in the air.
Mhm.
I guess I'm in range of him, right?
Yeah, you are.
Let's.
Yeah, and he doesn't do anything. He doesn't have any bonus actions.
Yeah, let's So they changed the 2024 rules for casting multiple spells, isn't it? Right? It's if it consumes 2 spell slots, you can't cast it together.
Wait, say that again?
How they changed the 2024 rules for casting multiple spells? Yeah, you can cast
Yeah,
multiple level spells in a turn as long as only one uses a spell slot. So if I have innate
Mhm.
casting, which does not consume a spell slot for one use of Misty Step, can I Misty Step and cast a level spell?
Yes. Also, this works for spell scrolls, which do not take up a slot.
Perfect. I'm gonna use my one cast of Misty Step to move there, maybe not, and then I'm gonna give the group a little trauma when I drop a circle of wall of force around this guy.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, 10 by 10-foot panels.
Okay. Yeah. Just. Are
Yeah,
you
a
doing a
dome.
wall,
I
or are you
create
doing
a
the thing?
dome.
Or are you doing the circle? Like the.
Yeah, hemispherical dome is what it says.
Yeah.
Or globe.
He doesn't even fight it. He just walks over and like, ding, 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 ding. He starts like tapping on it and like casting a couple of spells on it. Sound construction. I think this will do for the remainder of the fight. It's like, would you let me out, please?
I'm gonna look up to the spectate on the bridge.
You're talking Ingun?
Yeah.
You hear from the space around. She's like, confirmed. We're done here.
Drop concentration and let him out. Well, Chloe,
Excellent.
that was well done.
Likewise. That was one of my more enjoyable bouts. And then he just goes back into his book, starts writing as he walks away.
Curious. I'm just gonna be a lazy wizard and dimension door back up.
Sounds good.
So I just appear, and you see all of my book kind of settles back into its little holster, and I'm just straightening my dress, fixing my hair. Well, that was quite interesting.
Excuse me. Guess speaks up to the. Oh, that was one of the more entertaining ones I've seen in quite a while. I like seeing cleverness both ways. Now, who is next? Young Miss, and he references Haru. Dro, Yaslin.
Oh, yes, we'll go. I'm like, sure.
Excellent. Make your way down, and your opponent will be out shortly. As she's walking down, is there anything that you guys say or do in this, couple of minutes of she's traveling down and going to her spot?
talking of trauma, Dro is staring at that spot where that wall of force was.
Oh God.
Are you okay? Have you never seen a spell like that? I could teach it to you. It's not.
No.
That's quite a bit difficult, but.
No. I am familiar with that spell. It's.
Quite a useful spell.
Yeah, it was used to give us more time in Aurora's Rest. And he doesn't break line of sight of that particular spot, because it was also, if I remember correctly, Margot did a dome as well.
No, she did a flat.
Well, yeah, because I kind of did a paneling wall in.
Yeah, basically like a magical manhole cover.
Okay. So yeah,
is what Margot did.
he'll just stare at it for a while until he sees whoever else is down there with Yaslin.
Okay.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're not going to get a high score. But also, I don't know this well enough, he says. Is starting to slur. Because I'm pretty sure you rank based on, how much you hurt each other, rather than, flashy up and down and stuff like that. Am I wrong, or am I right?
You assume I care for my ranking in this city.
The warden looks at you and he goes, "Yeah, no, that's right. I don't really care about mine either, so."
Your demeanor and consumption of liquor would say otherwise.
How was my liquor? My stuff is a little bit more of a drug than it is,
one
Even more lending
might
to the
call
point.
that an addiction.
It's not an addiction. It's something that helps me get through the day.
That is,
I think he defined
I mean,
addiction.
Yeah, that will draw Dro's attention to the conversation.
As this nonsense is happening up top, then Yaslin's completely oblivious, although I'm sure she imagines some sort of ridiculous scene is happening out there without her. And Yaslin, you see from the similar platform across the way, you see the double doors open. And Yaslin, give me a perception check.
a perception check. You know what? Yaslin will do it because she's no longer fucking exhausted out of her mind.
18. Yaslin, like the doorway kind of like opens up and you see like a silhouette and you see the first step is dense.
Oh,
And your eyes immediately like lock in. And Quentin, what does she see?
She sees a towering Goliath. Gray skin, long black hair, parts of it put in braids with like tribal beads withered in, part of it up in a man bun. On his gray skin, you'll notice brownish tattoos that run down his arms and up the side of his face, across his left eye, with the piercing green eyes. He has a long beard that is also braided with the same beads that are in his hair. He's wearing a unique, like, technically armor-ish, and it looks to be made of kite. Green in color, brown. The chest that has no arms on it, which exposes the ridiculously large arms. He has bracers, and then your standard leather pants and shoes. In his hand is a very large great sword. That handle looks to be made of wood, very thick wood, with vines running up the blade, with the blade having unique engravings inside of it.
And how tall is he?
About 7 feet tall. 7.5, sorry.
oh shit!
He's a big boy.
All right. So, Yaslin, you see this guy, and you immediately, like, your danger sense is a little tingly, and I think you like it. All right. You're welcome to begin whenever you like. Click. Any conversation between the two of you before you start?
I think he just looks at the female standing in front of him and kind of tilts his head. And gives a little half grin. But doesn't say anything.
Interesting.
Does Yaslin say or do anything, or is she just raring to go?
Nah, she's rearing to go. She's like, no words needed between warriors. We go.
Okay, sounds good. The two of you, I imagine you just both rush forward towards each other. Go ahead and roll initiative, and we will call it there for... Oh, now hold off on the initiative. We'll do that next time as our opening salvo.
Okay.
Okay.
as the two of you just rush towards each other, muscle and brawn about to clash head to head. And that is where we will pick up next time.